Everybody, I am back and I'm back with another interview. This interview, you want to make sure that you have your drinks available. If you choose to smoke, do you smoke? Don't eat too much because it kind of disrupts your ears when you can hear the good stuff that comes out. So make sure you don't eat as much, but if you do, definitely hit rewind because you might miss something. I have a guest today on her IG. It intrigued me to say this person here has to be heard and heard on this platform and heard on a lot of other platforms because she has an interesting take on movies and all type of other things. She can go anywhere she wants to go. She's building her audience and it's someone I am proud to, call my guest. So the next voice you're gonna hear it will be from her and it's on you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Latavia, but everybody calls me Tay. But I go by Film Girl Tay on all of my social media platforms. I mean, I'm just a lover of all things film and television. Like, if it's film and television, you got my heart. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Married, grown kids, but film and TV is pretty much my life.
Well, I definitely got some things for you on film and TV. As a film and TV lover of myself, I
Mhm.
had some questions for you, and I was itching to ask them, because I see what you're doing with your content on your page. So tell us about the content that you produce on your IG page and what people should expect when they go there.
I do all kinds of stuff. So I'm really obsessed with like classic movies and TV shows like 70s, 80s, 90s. It's just something about that era that was just classic, timeless. Like you didn't have AI, you didn't have all of these things
Mm,
to manipulate um movies and stuff the way that you do now. Like you really had to have talent to be successful in the film and television industry then, and it's just something about it. So a lot of my content is related to older TV shows and movies, but it's about, like, I talk about the fashions, mainly like what people were wearing in these shows and
mhm.
movies. I do, like, as far as newer things, I talk about, like, I do these topics where I don't even talk. I just point and create pictures, and that has gone absolutely viral. But I do categories like most suspenseful movies of all time, best duos in a movie, best soundtrack in a TV show. So it's, you can go on and on and on forever. Like you're never going to run out of content. And that's why that's pretty much my niche, because I'll never get bored. I'll never run out of things to talk about. So if you go to my page, you're going to see a lot of like new movie trailers, review. I do a lot of reviews on TV shows and movies. I do fashion reviews on actors and actresses in TV shows and movies. So it's pretty much a plethora of all things film and television.
Okay, perfect. So that makes a great segue to my first question. And we're going to start in the 70s here.
Ooh.
And I'm going to ask you a question, and I want your answer on what do you feel like will be your favorite out of the two here. 70 shows, Jeffersons or I know,
Mm.
Jeffersons or Sanford and Son.
Abby Jefferson.
Okay, please explain why.
I think Sherman was absolutely hilarious. Now, Red Fox was amazing too. Now he was funny as well, but it is Red Fox, right? Because I don't want to get nobody name.
Right,
Okay,
right, right.
look, because I know they'll eat me up if I get these names wrong. I'm horrible with names, but I know a lot of people. Trust me, I recognize my actors and actresses. But I think for me, you got Wheezy, you got, I mean, and then I think the storyline for me was that they moved on up. They were in this high rise, living this lifestyle. This the main character, of course, George, was now this wealthy black man, and it was just funny. Like, I don't know, it was just funny to me. I think it was funny. I think there was more context to that show than Sanford and Son, even though that one was great as well.
Okay, we're gonna stay in the 70s, and I got a question for you here.
Uh
And comparison I'm gonna put three things together.
oh.
Best intro music of the 70s shows? The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, or Good Times?
Mm. So I have a music background. I'm a music girl. I'm
Okay.
actually a singer and all that. So I love my music. I'm thinking vocally. If I think vocally, say we're moving on up. Okay.
All right.
Good times. Dun, 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 dun. Good times.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
good times.
Now, didn't um who's the art? I mean, the actor that sung that song
Oh. Ooh.
was it it was on Good Times. She was a character because she sung that song, and I think she sung the Jefferson song. I believe.
I'll see. You
I
teaching me
believe.
today. Now I gotta go back and find out. I don't know the name. I
I
don't know.
can't think of her name right now, but again.
Okay, I'm gonna find out.
All right. So the next question, I'm gonna stay in the 70s here,
Okay.
but this doesn't have to do with a show per se, but it have to do with a character. And please forgive me because I can't remember the character right now. Um, I'm gonna try to give the first name, but I'm gonna start this here. Who was the better model in the 70s? Was it Pam Grier, or was it the young lady that people loved on Good Times? And I think her name was Bernice. I can't think of her real name, but
Who?
who
What
was
was
the
her character?
she played the oldest daughter on Good Times. She
Thelma.
was Thel- not yeah, Thelma. Thelma.
Thelma. It was Thelma. I think her name was it. It was Bernadette or Bernadette. It was something. Her real name. I can't remember her name. But
Right.
who was a better mom? I mean, Pam
They
Grier.
they were both on Jet and on Ebony before. They're both great those magazines, but you're gonna go with Pam Grier.
It's Pam Grier. Yeah.
Okay.
Now Thelma was fine. Thelma was fine, but Pam Grier, gotta give it to you. Gotta give it to the goats, to the OGs.
Okay. All right. And then we'll stay in the 70s one more time here.
Okay.
But I'm gonna let you answer this. I'm not gonna give the person name, and we're gonna go to the male. Who was the most handsome male actor or athlete or etc. in the 70s era?
This is gonna sound so weird, but I thought Fonzie was so freaking cute from um uh, Happy Days.
Happy Days.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Out of
Yep.
all of them, Fonzie, the man
I
that
thought
used to.
Fonzie was a fox. And all he wore was that leather coat, them jeans, and a white or black shirt, and that was it. And I was like, "Yep, he cute, he fine."
And you know what? You took a notable character. You had so many different men that you can probably put in that character
Mhm.
into that spot. But you chose him because I thinking you chose because he was so unique to the
He was.
70s. Is that right? Okay.
It was, and then I talked about this in one of my videos. He initially was not even supposed to be like a main character at all. He was just like pretty much like an extra on the show. He wasn't supposed to be the breakout star, and he just was so natural and simple, and everybody just fell in love with him because he was a nice looking guy, and yeah, he was bigger than the main character.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I can dig that. Let's go to the 80s.
All right,
Okay.
80s.
Okay. Name your top three movies from the 80s.
Movies.
Hmm.
Oh, oh, that's really, really hard.
Do I need to give you a genre like what you can, you know?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily as you gotta remind because I know a lot of 90s. I'm a TV show mainly, but I'm thinking movies. Okay.
Okay.
So, gosh, that's so good.
I know it's
When did Harlem Nights come out? What year was it?
came out in it came out in the 80s. I think it came out in 88, late 80s. So
Definitely Harlem Nights.
okay.
Gotta be Harlem Nights and Die Hard. It came out in the 80s too, right?
No, I think Die Hard was came out in 91 or 92.
Was it okay? It was early 90s. No, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually just watched that for the first time. I fell in love. It's crazy.
Oh, for the first time.
I actually did a reaction video for the first time. It hasn't posted yet, but I never seen Die Hard until like a week ago.
Ah, I mean,
Um,
it was on TV the other night. I watched it, and I've seen that movie probably 40 times.
oh yeah, that was my
Mhm.
first time. It was crazy. My husband was like, "How the heck have you never seen Die Hard?" I was like, "Listen, I was watching other stuff." Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna say Harlem Nights, but I can't think of it. Dang it. Do you got any like I can choose from? That might help. What you think?
Okay, so I'm gonna help you here. So
Okay.
think about the top actors in the 80s. So you gotta put in there somebody like Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
Yeah.
You gotta put in there somebody like
Yeah.
uh, Eddie Murphy. Uh, something of that sort. So I would think start comedy. You already did that with Hall Nights
Mm-hmm.
or action. That would be. I can tell you one of mine, and this
What's
is
the
probably low key cool. It was a movie called Risky Business. Had Tom.
heard of it? I just have never seen it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a list.
You gotta send me a
you
list
can,
of movies that I need to watch. Like you need to be like, you gotta watch these movies.
okay? You gotta watch that, and I'm not gonna go with the black ones. But anyway, I like them all. So Risky Business. You gotta watch Breakfast Club.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, that is a good one. Yep.
You gotta watch that.
Was it 80s? It was okay. Okay.
Hmm. And you gotta watch. Now you got me thinking. It's a bunch. I mean, I like Lethal Weapon. The first one, I think that was an '87 movie.
Mm-hmm.
You got Beverly Hills Cop. The first two were in the '80s, I believe.
You hear me? See, this is more my husband. Like, give me some 90s. I can give you some 90s movies. I
Oh,
don't know.
we gonna go. We gonna go to the '90s.
Okay.
Definitely. We're gonna definitely go to the
Okay.
'90s.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to stay a little bit in the '80s, but you'll notice in the '90s. The Cosby Show. What do you love about that? What did you love about that show, and what you didn't like about that show, if there was anything? That was an '80s show.
I love that we were. And this was the first show that well, the Jeffersons, but this was the first show where we saw black people with money. Where we really saw black people that weren't struggling because for a while it was just good times, and that was the best that they could give us, and that
Hmm.
was the projects, and that's all we knew. When Cosby came out, we was like, okay, wait a minute, we could be lawyers, we could be doctors. We could like a black family could live in a household with the mom and the dad, and all got one. They only got one set of parents. Ain't no outside kids. They loved each other. They weren't bickering and fighting. The kids weren't just like crazy bad. They were going to college. Like it was just such a positive movie for people of color. I mean, show for
Hmm.
people of color, hands down.
Okay.
Yep, I can't think of anything I don't like. I can't think of anything I don't like about the Cosby Show.
Now these are the only things, and I start picking up this um, just years ago, thinking about the things I didn't like when you could tell a show's wrapping up. When they start bringing in all these other characters. Not to say there was anything wrong, but they had like the scenes where there was some bickering going on for what was told. So you never saw like you remember you had Olivia, right? and then you
Hmm.
had the kids when they got older. But from what I heard, the storylines changed because some of them wanted more money, some of them wanted their own thing, and that's kind of how the different world spinoff was. And I didn't like how sometimes shows wrap up. It's sad. I know they got to wrap up, but it's like, oh, I can't be in the scene with this person. I can't be in the scene with this person. I didn't really
I don't
feel
like
that.
that about any show. I feel like that happened with Martin when him and Gina had whatever happened in real life. And then we
Hmm.
started getting those episodes where they weren't filming in the same place. And I'm gonna be honest, like those were the worst episodes to me. Like the show wasn't as good when they started doing it, when they started wrapping up those seasons. So you are 100% correct. Like, oh, even girlfriends, when they started wrapping up girlfriends and Tony left and it just became a whole little like it was rough. It was rough. When Kim left Moesha, like, we started winding down. You could tell when these shows about to start wrapping up. And it's just like the writers don't even really try as hard anymore. They just trying to just throw some episodes together and just wrap it up. So yeah, I agree. Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. So I want to. Okay, we're gonna stay in the '80s just one other time here, and we're gonna talk about Eddie Murphy's career in the '80s
It's my boy.
with the hit movies that he had. Do you think that he's an underrated actor and praised more as comedian, or or vice versa?
Oh, no, I think he's an underrated comedian.
Mm, you do?
I do. I think as an actor, we know Eddie is like Nutty Professor. I mean, life. Who go back to Nutty Professor? How many characters did he play? How many characters did he play in Coming to America? So we know
Mhm.
this man can act, but I think we forget how freaking funny he is. The man is hilarious. The stand up, you know what I'm saying? Like when we get back
Mhm.
to that, I think we feel like that about Jamie too sometimes because Jamie Foxx, we forget that he was a comedian first. He wasn't always, I mean, he knew how to act, but he was funny first. So I think he's an underrated comedian. But we know, we know who the GOAT is when it comes to acting. And it's definitely Eddie Murphy.
Mm. So you'll take him over Richard Pryor?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Eddie is more of what I remember. I feel like maybe my husband or like my parents or somebody would probably take Richard. But growing up, it was Eddie for me. So that's pretty much I know more about Eddie than Richard Pryor.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think Eddie had a really legitimate competition when Martin came out, and you remember he had the comedy show, hit comedy show on HBO. He had the hit TV show Martin. I think he had a really legitimate competition until how Martin wrapped up. So we're in the '90s right now. Just let you know.
Okay. Okay.
And so the downfall of Martin, how did you feel like they affected black actors when in black shows? Did you feel like it affected it, or you feel like it didn't do anything to shows and actors?
I feel like it affected us just being fans of his and fans of I think because his show was such a hit, it really opened up the door for us to get more shows like that, to get more
Mm,
comedian turned actors and stuff like that. So I don't think it hurt us. I think Martin helped us, but what hurt us was that we never got that Martin back. Even to this
mm,
even to this day, that Martin that we watch on Martin all the time and House Party and Boomerang, like that guy is different. He's even different on back from Bad Boys 1 to Bad Boys 4, two
okay.
different Martins. So we still love him. Like I love him. I don't care what state he in. But we just never got Martin back the way that he originally was. So
Mm,
I think that just hurt the culture, like our feelings, but I don't think it hurt the industry.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you a couple of comparison questions since we're on Martin.
Uh-oh. Let's get into it.
All right. Would you take Martin's show or Different World?
Martin. I
Very
can,
quick answer.
yeah, I know every season, every episode verbatim. I don't know very much. I can't quote you different world, but I like the show. But it'll be Martin.
All right. Martin, who was your favorite character that Martin portrayed beside his regular self? And that's a list of them.
Shanae. Shanae. You cannot
Okay.
forever Shanae.
This is just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going, don't
All right, where you going? Are you going with Jerome
you?
or
Well,
the?
I'm gonna go while I'm going with Jerome.
Why are you
But
going with Jerome?
I feel like Jerome was more of him, like comedian. I
Oh,
feel like
oh,
Martin was more of his family, like someone in his family.
like his uncle or somebody.
Like I feel like he was playing like portraying like an uncle character there, and I think he was just kind of like he was playing it. It's just that I feel like he was more popular as Shanae. I would say Shanae was one, Jerome was probably two, and besides those two, do you remember any of the other ones that stood out?
Um, yeah, it was the Mr. Otis, the police officer. Oh,
Yeah,
Otis.
yep.
Shanae. Oh, you had what was the little boy name? Was it Roscoe?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You can't
yeah.
forget about Snot Nose. He played the white guy a couple times, like one or two times. The co-worker for Gina. I do remember the specific episode when she went out of town and her and Pam, and he played the white guy. And I'm trying to think. Those are probably the karate guy. What was his name?
Dragonfly Jones. That's my favorite.
Woo! That was a good now.
I was a Dragonfly Jones guy. Once he was
Dragonfly
teaching.
Jones, baby. Yes. That damn, I love Martin. Are you going to any of his shows?
Am I what? I'm sorry.
He's on tour. He's about to be on tour. He's on tour. I don't know, but I know he's doing.
Oh, yeah, he's got one coming up. I think in this area in January, I believe. January
Cool.
20. I haven't seen him personally stand up, so that one may be on my radar.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I haven't either, so I'm excited. Check him out.
Okay. We're gonna stay with Martin here, so that's probably one of my top five shows.
Hmm.
Were you more of a Cole fan or Tommy fan?
Tommy.
Mm, okay.
Tommy was suave, man. Tommy was cool. I did a fashion segment on Tommy because we were sleeping on Tommy clothes, but he knew how to dress.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a question for you. Do you remember what did Martin represent in the 90s that he wore a lot of?
I oh probably he was a jeans guy to me.
He was a jeans guy.
Oh, Snickers, tennis shoes, Jordans. He
He did
was
wear a lot, he talked a lot about Jordans. I agree. But one thing that stood out to me was he represented a lot of the HBCUs. You remember he had all the shirts and stuff like the sweatshirts.
you on yeah, you right. He did.
That
He
was
he represented.
even when I go back and rewatch it, I'll be like, man, he got a fam shirt on, he got an A&M shirt on, he's got
You know what?
Norfolk.
Never know. Come on, you better do your research. I've never noticed that. Now I gotta look at you. You give me homework.
I went to HBCU and dad went to so I see it when I was watching it. I'm like, he either had that, he had the fly shoes, he had that on, or he represented a clothing brand called I think it was Cross Colors.
Cross colors. I that was in my head, but I couldn't remember. And I hate messing up words that need to be said correctly.
Mm,
especially brands. But I thought about it. I couldn't remember the name of it, but yes.
okay.
Yep.
Here's another one about Martin. I know this might be hard.
Mm,
Were you more of a Pam fan or a Gina fan?
Pam.
I thought that would be hard.
Mm-mm,
Oh,
mm-mm.
okay. Elaborate, please.
I think, and I love them both. I love to be very clear on this, but when we ask these questions, I think Pam was supposed to just be the like the what you call it, like just the not the co-actor, but not the best friend. She was supposed to play the sideline a little bit.
Hmm.
But I feel like her personality stood out more to me than Gina. But I think that was the intention. Gina was supposed to be really, really preppy, really bougie, really, and Pam was like homegirl, your homegirl that you're gonna go hang out with, go to the concert with, and kick it with, and have a drink with. That was
Yeah.
Pam. Pam reminded me of girls I grew up with, and I think that's why I like Pam so much.
Mm,
And I loved her. I think she was the better singer. Um, I don't know. I'm a Pam girl. Love me some
okay.
Gina now. Now Gina, she made an impact. I loved her in Boomerang, even though her character was so small, baby. That fence behind that fence, she was just I loved her and I loved her in House Party. So I loved Tisha Campbell, but Tashina, yeah, that my girl.
Okay. You're so knowledgeable. I'm a little mad at myself. I'm gonna tell you a reason why. I didn't prepare enough for the '90s. I really got to think of because I didn't prepare. I didn't know you was a '90s fan like I was. So I'm like, okay, I'm being real about it. But I like this. I like the fact that you were able to throw out some
We
things
could
here.
do a part two. We could do a part two, get into the
Okay.
'90s. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, you ain't asked me the number one '90s movie to me was Boomerang. I can watch that once a month for the rest of my life. Yeah, Boomerang and Clueless. I actually really love Clueless.
Hey, you know what? Every time I said that's kind of a secret of mine, which is not a secret no more because being transparent. Clueless is one of my favorite movies.
You got
I didn't grow up in that society. It was just the rolling with the homies, and it was just that stuff. Just I don't know
Bro,
why
homie. Yes, come on. That was it.
I don't know why, but yeah. But I'm gonna say this. I know that's your opinion. I do not have Boomerang as the number one movie in the '90s.
What, baby? That
Eartha Kitt, Eartha Kitt scared me. The only person that ever scared me in this world.
you want to know the best part about Boomerang to me? And this is gonna be. And I don't think people really think about this.
And I
For
wasn't a Robin, what's called fan either. But
Robin Givens, yeah,
yeah,
I
I
love.
just wish he did the mic.
See, I'm gonna tell you the beautiful thing about me. I can separate characters from real people. That's why when I do my reviews and stuff, I don't know if you pay attention, but I only refer to them as their character name. I never talk about them as their real selves. I just focus on character because I know how to separate them. Because I know what you're talking about with the Robin Givens things, but I focus on Jacqueline Breuer from Boomerang, and that was a whole different beast. But
Do
my
we gotta break down Boomerang? Is that what we gotta do?
we gotta break down Boomerang because guess what? We were introduced to Tony Braxton because of Boomerang. Let's keep it a buck. We got introduced to the Tony Braxton, the living legend. Um, we had I mean, we can go on and on. The movie needs to be dissected from beginning to freaking end, from clothes, acting, storyline. Because the antagonist is supposed to be Jackie, but it was really Marcus. It was really Eddie Murphy. It we gotta break it down.
All right,
Point
I'm
blank.
gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down too. I ain't all right. I ain't drinking no liquor. I gotta go back to work. I'm just saying. But
Yeah, you got
the red solo cup here. Um, I'm gonna break down something. I don't know if you really thought about it. Like, all right, what was the name? Robin Givens character.
mhm.
Did she inspire Desiree Washington? I think that's the same lady that accused Mike of rape
Mm.
in that movie. Because you remember she came to the hotel or the house with the raincoat on, with the
Oh,
underwear,
with
and you
nothing
know what I'm saying?
under it.
And then supposedly Desiree Washington, I think that's her name, did the same thing to Mike. And then Mike was actually dating and engaged to, or maybe married to Robert
Right.
Givens.
I never correlated the two. Um, she could have been inspired by that. She could have used that as something, to use against him or to do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It could be. It could be that she used that because that happened after the movie, right? The accusation.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe not even a year.
She
I'm gonna go
probably
back and do my research. I don't want to be wrong about that, but I feel like it was. I feel like it was
allegedly, allegedly she
allegedly.